Warning: the following program is intended for mature audiences only. It may contain explicit language, adult talk, and actions not suitable for younger listeners. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the No Gameplan podcast. We're your host. I'm Caleb.
I'm Zach. How we doing, everybody? We're back with another episode. We're going to do a little recap on the divisional round and dive into the championship games coming up this weekend. So,
yes, sir. It's pretty good slate of games this weekend. I feel like all the games were pretty solid, at least close for most of the games. So, a lot of good football games. Again, we're recording this before work because it's the only time we got really.
Yep.
Let's dive right in.
Let's do it.
First game was Chiefs and the Texans. Of course, the Chiefs won. I feel like it was a decent game. It could have been better if the refs didn't suck. Even Troy Aikman and Joe Buck usually don't call out the refs. Usually they're not like biased or anything. But even this game, they were both calling out the refs for their bullshit.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, there were two roughing the passer calls, both on Mahomes, that neither of them should have been called. I mean, the rules analysts they usually have in said shouldn't have been penalties. And then, like I said, Joe and Troy said that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just don't understand what happened. He clearly hit him with like his shoulder.
Yep, and then on the second
they zoomed in on it. And he clearly hit him with his shoulder, not his helmet. So
and then the
second
second one,
what we're missing here.
Two teammates
the Chiefs or something
Yeah, and then Mahomes tried to flop too, later in the second half. He does this thing. They called him out for it on the broadcast, but I was talking about it with someone else this weekend. Patrick Mahomes does this thing where he slows down right before he goes out of bounds to try and draw a hit from the defenders. And that happened this weekend where he slowed down, he drew a hit, and then he flopped like a bitch out of bounds. And Troy Aikman was like, yeah, no, that's ridiculous. No, they didn't call it. But Thank God, is something he does to try and get those calls. And yeah, Chiefs won. They're going into the AFC Championship at home once again. So
I feel like it was the Texans game though. They were staying right with them.
Yeah,
CJ Stroud just got sacked too many times. Yeah. He was getting into third and longs, and really had nowhere to go with the ball because no one was getting open. So he was taking sacks, and that was just pushing him back.
8 times that game. Steve Spagnuolo defense are gross. Yeah, very unfortunate. Because CJ Stroud, I feel like they had a good game plan. They just couldn't get him any time to throw.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't play very well. It's kind of unfortunate for him. I like to see him play well. But his college team won the championship last night.
Yep.
He took the
Ohio
win.
State took the dub last night. I didn't watch it at all.
I didn't watch it either.
I kind of expected Ohio State to win though.
Yeah.
After the last 2 games they played, I kind of figured they'd win it all because I felt like they had the most complete team left.
Let's talk about the Commanders and Lions game, dude. What a fucking upset.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I don't think anybody saw that happening, especially
with the
winning by that much too.
Yeah. And with the way the Lions defense played against the Vikings, I don't think anyone thought they would just crumble that badly against the Commanders. But Jaden Daniels balled his ass off. He's, in my opinion, after seeing his last 2 playoff performances, he's a top 5 quarterback in this league already. I'd put him probably at number 5. He had a great game. They were able to get, Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler going, which, the Lions defense is pretty banged up, so I guess you could expect that. But coming off a bye week, I would have thought they'd do better than they did.
For sure. I was kind of surprised with their performance. I mean, Jared Goff.
Yeah, he played terrible.
Yeah, he had, 2-3 interceptions.
I think he had 3 total turnovers.
And he had a
2
pick
interceptions
6.
and a fumble.
He had a pick 6 too. That doesn't help, especially in the playoffs.
And then Jamison Williams threw a pick as well.
Dude,
Ben
what
Johnson
are these
needs to
play
chill.
calls though? So they do a trick play while they're down to try to come back, and why are you trying to do a trick play with your receiver throwing to another receiver when you're down in a playoff game? That's just some stuff that's just too much.
Yeah.
You do those kinds of things when you're up,
Right.
when you're up and you're comfortable and you have quite a bit of a lead.
Shout out to Ben Johnson though. He got a head coaching job yesterday.
Is it official?
Yeah, and he's the new head coach of the Chicago Bears. I think they could do pretty good with him. They got the weapons, they got the talent, so
they got a young quarterback.
They just need the right play calling in that offense. I think Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams they'll do pretty good next year as long as they get some more O-line help. But just a little side note there. But yeah, the Lions kind of surprised me. They were able to score a decent amount, but they just couldn't get a stop. And it looks like Aaron Glenn might get a coaching job today. I saw it on
Raiders or New Orleans,
the Jets.
Right? Oh, the Jets.
I saw it earlier on Instagram.
I forgot he was looking into the Jets too.
Instagram this morning that he's having an in-person meeting with the Jets, and the goal for the Jets is to not let him leave the building without signing a contract. So it's looking like he'll get a head coaching job, which they already had a defensive head coach in New York, and that didn't turn out so well. So we'll see how it goes round 2 if that does happen. But yeah, the Lions defense just kind of struggled. Couldn't really get anything going. The secondary got banged up on the first play. Amik Robertson, after locking up Jettas, in week 18.
That was a nasty injury. Didn't he break his arm?
I think he broke his arm first play of the game on defense. So it just kind of went downhill from there. Yeah, like you said, Jared Goff struggled. So
Jane Daniels just simply outplayed them. Their defense outplayed them. They just played a sound game. They made plays when they had to. They created turnovers. Jane Daniels drove down the field when he had to. He's playing lights out right now. And I don't even think the Eagles' defense can stop him. I think they're going to beat the Eagles. I think they could beat the Eagles, to be honest with you. I just think they're playing at a high level. They're hot at the right time going into the NFC Championship. I think they realistically could make a Super Bowl run.
Yeah, they're
1 game away from making it to the Super Bowl.
They're the only road team to win a game these playoffs as well. So, they got nothing to lose. They came in as the 6th seed. No one really expected them to win anything, but here they are. They beat the Bucs, and then they beat the 1 seed Lions, and got a chance to knock off 1, 2, and 3 all in the same playoffs if they beat the Eagles next week, which I could see happen. Their defense is really going to have to step it up, though. But
yeah,
I never know.
I could see it happening. We'll see what happens.
All right, and then the next game, the first game on Sunday, was the Rams and Eagles. I think we both picked the Rams to win that game. They had a chance to win it at the end of the game there, but a turnover, I think on downs.
Yeah.
And
he threw it out of bounds, I think.
He didn't even give Puka or whoever it was a chance to catch the ball.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, dude. Yeah. They were down by 6, too. They had the game in their hands.
Yeah. I mean, they were down by...
That's unfortunate.
I think they were down by 2 possessions. They scored, get a stop, and then they had that chance to go win the game, but couldn't get it done.
Yeah. Sucks.
The Eagles didn't really impress me that much yet again. That's 2 weeks in a row. I wasn't really too impressed. Saquon went crazy, though.
Yeah, like he did the previous meeting with the Rams.
Yep.
Guy's unbelievable.
Jalen Hurts had a nice rushing touchdown, too. That's probably his first rushing touchdown. That's not a tush-push this year, so good for him. Very impressive run. But, both offenses were kind of doing their thing. Defenses were playing okay for the most part. Jared Verse had a good game after calling out Eagles fans. Just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I was really rooting for the Rams in this one. They were the underdog, the whole LA Fire thing happening too, all that motivation. Just fell short. but I'm sure they'll be back. They got a lot of weapons. I don't know how many years Matt Stafford has in him, but he still looks pretty damn good. So I think he's got a few years left in him.
He said he might retire, but I hope he doesn't. The Rams are kind of screwed if he does. I think
Yeah.
they got Jimmy G and Stetson Bennett on their roster, so
Yeah.
they don't really have a high enough pick this year to do anything if Stafford does retire. So
Mhm. I think he'll come
I
back.
think he'll stick around.
Yeah.
He's still slinging it. So all right, last game.
Dive into it here.
Good grief. Bills Ravens in Buffalo. Great first half performance by the Buffalo Bills, up 21-10 going into halftime. Josh already has 2 rushing touchdowns at that point. Ray Davis got one. Defense forced 2 turnovers on Lamar in the first half as well. Taylor Rapp got an interception, and then DeMar Hamlin with a forced fumble that Von Miller almost took to the house. So, pretty good overall first half, and then, this is what the Bills do every year. They get conservative once they're up by 2 possessions, and they almost let the Ravens come back. Really bad second half. Offensively, had a couple 3-and-outs or, get 1 first down and then punt. It was pretty ugly, that second half. And, the Ravens came back, only lost by 2. So I would say the defense really stepped it up in the second half when the offense was struggling.
Yeah, it was a really good overall. It was a really good game. I thought, 2 really good offenses going back and forth. I think the Bills executed good though. They made plays when they had to. The defense really stepped up, created some turnovers, and that's really what gave them the edge because the Lamar fumble and then the pick with Taylor Rapp, which hope he's okay. I don't know how long he's gonna be
He
out.
had a hip injury early in the game.
They played well, so played well enough to win. That's all that matters. Mark Andrews once again, just like against the Steelers,
dropping the 2-point conversion.
Yep, dropping the 2-point conversion.
And
I do like Mark Andrews. I do. Even though he's on the
something.
Ravens, I do like him, but he couldn't get it done. Lamar
he fumbled too.
Lamar for once put them in a position to win in the playoffs, and he had a really good drive. He had like an 88-something yard drive, put him in position to tie the game. He made plays when he had to, despite the turnovers, but they just couldn't get it done.
And something Ravens fans were saying is that, it would have gone to overtime, we would have won. They're forgetting that there was still a minute and a half left, and the Bills had 2 timeouts with Josh Allen at quarterback. So that game was far from being over.
Yeah.
Even if they got that
too.
2
there
point.
was still a minute left. He would have definitely tried to get him in field goal range. So
shout out to Tyler Bass too. He hit a 51-yarder and then nailed a 20-something yarder after Jim Nance said, we missed one from this distance last year against the Chiefs. Like, you didn't have to bring that up, asshole.
Yeah,
but he made all his kicks. And the defense played well. Another thing Ravens fans said that wouldn't happen. Bills fans were saying all week, we got Milano back, we got Charles Bernard back, we got Taron Johnson back this game, which we didn't have in week 4. They're saying, it's not going to matter, but they made the linebackers made 2 of the biggest plays of the game. Matt Milano makes a stop, swats the ball down on the first 2-point conversion they go for, and then Terrell Bernard punches out the ball for Mark Andrews late in the second half, and recovers it himself too. So those guys really played well. Milano was getting pressure too. Pretty overall good defensive game from the Bills, I'd say. That did let up a couple big drives there in the second half, but you're only going to contain Lamar and Derrick Henry for so long with your offense struggling. So I'd say they did pretty well. The refs missed a few holds, called a bad one on Deion Dawkins in the first half that sputtered one of the Bills' drives, but besides that, wasn't too bad of a officiated game.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time. AFC Championship, NFC Championship, who's going to win, who's going to the Super Bowl, baby. We got the Bills and the Chiefs,
Once
and
again,
the Commanders and the Eagles.
let's start with Commanders Eagles.
What do you think about that, ladies and gentlemen? It's quite the matchups.
Yep. You want to start with Commanders Eagles?
Let's do it. I'm taking the Commanders. Simple as that. I think they're playing hot at the right time. Like I said earlier, I just think they're playing good. I mean, all they need to stop is, 26 Saquon Barkley. If they can contain him, I think they can win with their offense. Jaden Daniels being the quarterback. If they get that run game going too, I feel like the run game is the biggest part for them. Getting that run game going, getting Brian Robinson going, Eckler, getting them going, and then throwing that deep ball when he has to, and then their defense needs to step up and play good defense. I'm going to take the Commanders. See what happens.
I think I'm going to agree with you. The Commanders are playing probably the best defense they have so far in this playoffs with the Eagles. Their defense has been pretty good so far this playoffs. Quinyon Mitchell and Darius Slay, old-ass Darius Slay's making plays when he has to against some of the best receivers in the league this week. And Puka and Cooper Kupp made some big plays when he needed to. But, yeah, I think I'm going to take the Commanders. Their offense, I think, is just too good. Jaden Daniels is balling. Last week, Brian Robinson finally got going, like you said. And Scary Terry had a big touchdown last week against the Lions. They can keep him going and get De'Ami Brown going, too, who's somehow been the best receiver in the playoffs so far with 2 huge games, which just out of nowhere, honestly. Good for him. He's going to get a bag next year probably from just these 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
I just think their offense is too good. I haven't seen enough from the Eagles' offense to make me think that they'll do better this game. They split the season series,
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
going
at
to be a
1-1
game.
already. I think it'll be a really good game. Washington wins by 1 score at most, I think. I think it'll be really close.
I think it'll be I'm thinking like a 3-point game.
Yeah.
Because the Commanders just find a way to win close games for some reason.
Tom Brady kept calling them like the cardiac kids last week. So
I'm saying like game-winning field goal or something, or like
that.
game-winning touchdown. I mean, he's played crazy this year.
Cliff Kingsbury's done pretty good with him too as a rookie QB. I don't know. The Eagles are they're a weird team. I could easily just see them winning this game as well. They've found a way to do it the last 2 weeks, despite playing not as great on offense as we've seen from them all year. I'm going to pick the Commanders, but it really could go either way.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's how I feel about the next game as well.
Dude, big game, dude. Big game. Bills and Chiefs again.
Yep.
Meeting again in the playoffs.
Fourth time in the playoffs.
Fourth time in the playoffs. Second time in the AFC Championship since 2020. So big stakes. Bills making a Super Bowl again since like the
90s.
Since the
94, 93.
So see if they can get the win here. Go ahead, dude. This is your team. Take it off.
And nothing's ever gone wrong when the Bills have had a chance to do something 4 straight times. If you don't know, they lost 4 straight fucking Super Bowls. Have a chance to go 0-4 against Mahomes in the playoffs, or flip the script, go 1-3, get Josh to his first Super Bowl. I gotta take my team. We're playing in Arrowhead against the Chiefs, against the refs as well, probably. I'm not sure who the referees are yet this week for the games, but I got to roll with the Bills. I think they'll have a better game plan than they did this past week. They just can't let up. That's all you have to do. Don't let off the gas, especially in the second half. If you're up big, you can't let up against this Chiefs teams.
Especially against the Chiefs. Yeah.
Even with 13 seconds left, you've shown that you can't fucking let up against Patrick Mahomes. So they just got to step on the gas. I think the offense will be able to keep going like they did in the regular season game against the Chiefs. All they got to do is protect Josh and give him time to throw, which they did good against the good Ravens defense, who was ranked, I think, second in the NFL over like the last half of the season. I think they only allowed 1 sack last week, and it was a loss of 1, so it could have counted as a rush for Josh probably. But I got to roll with the Bills. I think the defense is finally starting to figure it out. Milano starting to look like himself again, and we just got to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. As simple as that. Draw a few calls maybe. That'd be kind of nice. Should have had a couple this week, but it's okay. We won. Moving on. Get to Patrick Mahomes. We finally have a coverage linebacker who can guard against Travis Kelce. Hopefully, I'm not going to say that too soon, but I think Milano with a combination of Terrell Bernard and Taron Johnson switching off and on Travis Kelce. I think we can get it done finally.
I'm gonna roll with the Bills. To be the best, you have to beat the best, and the past 5-6 years, it's been the Chiefs always
a chance at a three-peat.
Yeah, chance at a three-peat now. They're always winning their division. They're making a run in the AFC, and you just got to get through them. I feel like this is Josh's year. He's had a great year. I feel like he's going to get it done. They just have to play sound football. They need to make Patrick Mahomes get rid of the ball. Force him to make stupid decisions. Pressure him, make him feel uncomfortable for once. Make him throw off his back foot, that sort of thing. Create turnovers. And Josh just needs to run down the field, score, get points, make some plays.
Be less conservative.
I know they can do it. Too. I mean, you see it in the regular season. They beat them in the regular season. You just got to see it again.
We beat them in the regular season.
You just got to get it done in the playoffs. That's when it matters.
Yep.
Got to do it.
After this last game, Josh said in the post-game interview, he's like, everyone underestimated us. Everyone said we got no talent on offense or defense. Mm-hmm. And this is what he said. He said, we just put our head down and worked hard together. And it showed in the first 2 playoff games. When it came down to winning the game, they did what they had to. You could say they got lucky this last game with Mark Andrews dropping that pass, but again, like I said, there's a minute 33, and you have Josh Allen with the chance to go win the game, and he's going to do it. So I think despite what everyone's saying, I think this is, like you said, the best team, best chance Josh Allen has had, because no one's complaining about getting the ball. I mean, Amari Cooper, who's our number 1 receiver on the depth chart, had 1 target the whole game and didn't complain, and we won the game. So,
which I feel like for the Chiefs game, you guys should get them going a little bit.
We have to.
You got to get them going. Give them that deep ball. Give them that slant across the middle, post or whatever.
Yep.
Get them going, and start spreading the ball around him. You know what I mean? So throw it to him
more, please.
Get him open, but also spread the ball around to Kincaid, Shakir Curtis Samuel on like a jet sweep. Those sort of plays. Do that 4-stack on the left or the right. Motion them. You know what I'm saying? Those plays are going to win the game. I just feel like for the Bills to get it done, they got to get some turnovers.
Yep.
They got to play some sound football. They can't create turnovers. They can't. Josh Allen can't turn the ball over. Is what I mean. But they can do it. They've done it in the regular season. See if they can finally get it done in the postseason.
Yeah, we got to make sure we're dual threat offense too. We got to keep that run game going.
Yep.
I mean, Ray Davis had a great first half. He had a touchdown. He ripped off like 3 10-plus yard runs, and then he doesn't even play until like the last drive of the game. I just didn't understand that at all. Then we put James Cook back in, and he's getting 1 2-yard carries when our best running back has just been driving through people instead of trying to bounce it to the outside. So we got to make sure we're using all three running backs consistently, like we did against the Broncos, and just keep pushing the ball downfield. And that gives you more opportunities to, throw it deep to Keon, Cooper, like throw it to your tight ends for once. Instead of throwing a screen pass to Dawson Knox on 3rd and 5, how about you throw it like 15, 20 yards down the field to Knox or Kincaid for once? Just keep your options open. That's all you got to do. If you keep the Chiefs guessing on what you're going to do, that's better for your game plan. Just don't get conservative in the second half and try to run the ball every play. Like, it's not going to work, especially against this Chiefs defense in the playoffs. They always find a way to get stops. You got to keep them guessing.
Another thing I want to say is Josh needs to use his legs when he needs to.
Yeah.
As soon as he sees that pressure, overcommitting, just run. Because once the Chiefs' defensive line overcommits, it's over. You've lost right there. Because once Josh Allen starts running, it's hard to fucking put him down.
He did it in the regular season,
6'6", 250 pounds. He's a big dude. It's hard to bring him down. So,
yeah, like his second rushing
his
touchdown,
legs,
dude.
I think he needs to use his legs when he needs to. I wouldn't say use design runs because that's not going to work against the Chiefs defense.
They tried it this week on 3rd and 1 from the goal line. You should have just push right there. Instead, he's in shotgun and then has an option to pitch it to James Cook, but he takes himself, loses 2 yards when we could have scored a touchdown in that drive to put the game away, but instead we kick a 20-yard field goal because we lost yards on that play. You just got to give it to him under center and let him take off. His second rushing touchdown. It was only 6 yards out, but he ran through 4 Ravens defenders by himself. Just give the ball a 17. Let him do his thing. It's really not that hard. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, they can do it, man. I know they can do it. It's a huge game. Huge stakes, huge game. Let's see what happens.
I feel like if they win this game, they got to win the Super Bowl. You can't beat the Chiefs and not win the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be a crazy weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
It's the second game of the day, so we'll already know who we'll be facing in the Super Bowl. When it gets to...
Both games are on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Once it gets to 6 o'clock or whenever we're playing, we're gonna know. All right, we're facing the Eagles, we're facing the Commanders. We just gotta beat the Chiefs. Maybe 3 is the first game. I don't really know what the schedule is.
Bills and Chiefs are playing at
they're
6.
Playing later. Right? Yeah.
Of course, it's the day before school too starts, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Last day of freedom before school. So
yeah, I don't know if I should go to Cortland for that game because last time school started the next day for Chiefs-Bills game, it didn't end so well. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just wait another weekend to go to Cortland. It didn't end well last time. Tyler Bass missed the game time field goal, and then I drank a lot of tequila, so yeah, it didn't go that well.
Yeah. We got all the homies there on the bright side too. We got Jacob, Garrett might be there.
Yeah.
I
don't know if I can deal with another loss though. We can't go 0-4, right? We can't go 0-4 in 2 different things. We can't go 0-4 in Super Bowls. You can't go 0-4 against the Chiefs in the playoffs. It can't happen, right? It probably will, but
be positive, dude.
I'm trying. I'm trying my best. Nothing's ever been positive about the Bills, though.
You just got to get stops, dude. You got to get stops. You got to force them 3 and out. You got to force them to kick a field goal. They can't get off to a hot start. If they get off to a hot start, Josh Allen's got to match that. I feel like it's going to be kind of a shootout sort of game, like it usually is. But we'll see. See if they can get it done.
I'm hoping I can go back in time and finally tell my younger self in a fucking Paul Posluszny jersey that we finally won a Super Bowl. That'd be nice. I'm hoping, man. This has got to be the year.
Is that all we got?
I think that's all we got. We got to get to work, get rolling.
Yeah, we got to get to work. We're on a little bit of
doing
a time
insulation.
crunch, so doing a job today.
Hopefully, I'm not coughing my lungs out for the next week doing this insulation.
But once again, leave comments down below. Share our YouTube channel.
Trying to
guys.
get this thing rolling.
Trying to get our name out there. We want to cover some content for y'all.
Please keep giving us more ideas. We're running out of things to talk about once this NFL season ends. So
yeah, let us know. Please let us know. Get our name out there. Most importantly, subscribe.
Yep.
So you can see our videos. Hit the bell too, so you get the notifications. Yeah, man. That's the recap of the divisional round and the introduction to the championship round. Let's see what happens. Who makes the Super Bowl?
Yes, sir.
Any last words?
Go Bills, baby.
Let's see if the Bills get it done. Go Bills, man. Let's see what happens. We will see you in the next episode. Peace out.